beings bright and beautiful, all creatures great and small. The flowers red, pink and yellow, the Lord God made them all. Each little flower that opens, each little bird that sings, He made their glowing colors, He made their tiny wings. The lion that roars and the mouse that squeaks, the cow that moves in the field, the bunny hops and the dog says quack, the Lord God made them all. Each little calf that is born, each little dog that barks, He made the horse so big and strong, He made the little lamb. Story time with Nan.
Hello, Herbie. We're waiting for you. All the children ask, where is Herbie? He's not singing his happy song today. But when I looked out the front door, here you're sitting by this beautiful flower.
Hello, Nana. On my way here, I saw this beautiful flower and I stopped to have a look. And when I looked closely, I saw a bee on the flower. What is it doing there?
Yes, the other day, friends and I also walked past here, and there was a bee on the flower as well. And we took a little video of the bee. Just look at it, I'll show you quickly. And you know what? That bee comes to the flower because it collects pollen so that it can make some honey for us. Do you like honey?
Yes, I love honey.
Yes, honey is nice on our bread and we use it also in our food. Now, if you want to, I can go and show you and the friends what we know about bees and beekeeping and honey. Would you like that?
That'll be nice. Thank you.
Just look at this beautiful little bee. God knew exactly what He did when He created this magnificent little insect. A bee is very, very clever. His brain is better than any computer that we can find on earth. He knows exactly what to do when he comes out of his little cocoon and where to go and find some nectar to bring that back to make the honey. He can talk to his friends and tell them how far the honey is and how much honey there is. And this little bee needs to take some food with him when he goes and fetches the nectar. And if he doesn't take enough, then he's not going to have energy. So if you find a little bee lying on the ground somewhere, it's probably because he did not take enough food with for his journey to the flowers. Just look at the little wings. They are so thin and transparent, and yet they are strong enough to carry this little bee around. Bees are very, very hard working. A bee also has a sting. I'm sure some of you have been stung by a bee already. It's very sore and it burns and it itches for a long time. When a bee stings you and his sting is on the end of his little body, then the whole little gland that is attached to the sting comes out and then the bee dies. So if you are stung by a bee, you shouldn't take the little sting by your fingers and squeeze it to try and pull it out, because then you're squeezing all the poison out of the little gland into your body. Rather take your nail and try and scratch it off, or mommy can take a sharp object like a knife or something and try and scratch it off. Bees are wonderful. So let's learn a little more about bees. Herbie, let's have a look at the life cycle of the honeybee. Now we get 3 kinds of bees. We get the queen bee, which is the mommy bee. We get the worker, which is smaller and makes the honey. And then we get the drone. Now the queen bee lays her eggs in the honeycomb. There's tiny little eggs right inside there. And out of these eggs comes little larvae. And the little larvae get bigger and bigger as they are being fed by the other bees. And eventually they turn into a little pupae. And then at about 21 days, the little worker bees will come out. Now, as soon as the worker bee comes out, they are already big enough to start doing work. So first, they will clean the cells and keep the hive warm. And then they will start feeding the larvae. First the bigger larvae and then the smaller larvae. When they are about 12 days old, they will start producing wax, helping to build the honeycomb. And they will transport food from one place in the beehive to another. When they're about 18 days old, they become little soldiers. And they stand at the entrance of the beehive to protect the beehive against ants and moths and strange insects that will damage the beehive. When they are about 21 days old, they're ready to fly to the flowers and collect some pollen to bring it back to the beehive. Just look at this little bee. You see those little bags on his legs? They are full of pollen and nectar which they're going to bring to the beehive to make honey. A bee becomes about 35 to 45 days old. That is about 5 to 6 weeks. That is the lifespan of a bee. Herbie, did you know that bees can talk to each other? If a little bee has found some beautiful flowers with some lovely pollen and nectar on, he will come back to the hive and he will dance in the shape of an 8, like we see here. They will go around and around like that and around like that. And that tells the bees in which direction the honey is. So this straight line tells them in which direction the honey is. The longer this section is that they dance, the further away the honey is. So if they dance in a circle like this, it means the honey is very, very close by. But if they dance in an 8 shape like this, it tells the bees exactly how far the honey is and in which direction. So if they turn the 8 so that it goes that way, then it means they must go more to the right. Or if they turn the 8 and it goes that way, it means that they must turn more to the left. Now, Herbie, sometimes we will go for a walk in the veld or just down the road where there's lots of trees, and then we will see a whole lot of bees hanging in a tree. And then sometimes people think that that is where the bees live, but that is not where they live. When the bees do that, it means that the beehive or their nest where they live is too full, and they have now decided to make 2 swarms. So they fed a little larva extra queen jelly. They made a new queen, and now they are starting a new home with a new queen. And that is when they sit in a tree like that. They will find a place maybe under a roof or in a post box or maybe in a hole in the ground or in rocks, and then they will make themselves a new nest. Now in the next picture we can see some honeycombs. Now the front honeycomb is white, and you can see the little shape of the little cells where the honey goes into. But there's no honey in this one yet. The back one is filled with honey. When they build their honeycombs in the rocks or in other places and not in a proper beehive, then the honeycombs have got all different kinds of shapes, and they are not very easy to take the honey out. A honey box is called a beehive, and here we see two beehives, two brown beehives, you will see that there's two boxes. One bigger one at the bottom, which is where the queen stays and when she lays her eggs, and where the bees feed the larva and the pupae, and where they hatch. The top box is called the super. That is where the bees will make the honey, which we then will take out and harvest. Beekeeping can be a very, very nice hobby. Now here you can see our family, or part of our family. My daddy used to farm with bees, and then when I married Uncle Michiel, he also had an interest in bees, and now all of my children are interested in bees, and there my mommy is still with us when she was still alive. So we inherited the interest in beekeeping. Herbie, we also have tools that we use when we take the honey out. Now this one is called a hive tool. It's almost like a knife. So when the frames with the honeycombs in stick to each other, you put this in between there so that you can loosen the frames from each other so that you can take them out of the box. And then we also have a little brush. This is to brush the bees off the honeycombs very gently so that they don't get hurt, and you put them back in the box when you take the honey out. And then we also have a pincher, and this is so that you can pinch the frames together like that, and you can take them out of the box so that you can clean the honey. If we want to work with bees, we must be sure that we have the right clothes on. We usually buy overall with a zip around the neck and a special hat with gauze in front so that we can still see through it, which zips onto the overall. And then we have very nice gloves, and we have long socks that goes over our overalls at the bottom so the bees can't crawl into our legs, and we have nice boots on. Now when we've got these clothes on, then we are ready to go to the beehive. Now bees work very, very hard, and they don't want us to take their honey. Just look how busy the bees are in this beehive. What we then do is we take some pine needles and we put it in a little machine that we set alight, and it makes a lot of smoke. Now when we smoke the bees, then they become tired and sleepy, and then they don't fly around so much when we want to work with them. So once we've smoked them, we will take the top box off, which is called the super, and we will smoke them a little more, and with our little broom we will then sweep the bees off the honeycomb so that we can take the box with the frames and honey home so that we can go and extract the honey.
So you can see these are all the frames. This is what we call the super, and then we've got this little comb that we use to open the little wax layers of the honey tubes.
Cleans them with his special little fork, just like we see on the next photo where Uncle Adrian is cleaning the honeycomb. Now the next photo we will see that a part of the honeycomb, the wax has been taken off, but part of it still has the wax on. You can see the shape of the little honey cells. They have 6 corners. On the next one we will show you what the little cell looks if you cut it through the middle. You will see it's a long little cell, and it comes from both sides of the honeycomb. So the bee will fill it up on the one side and then close it up with wax, and then fill it out again on the other side. So when we've now taken the honeycomb's wax all off, we put these frames with the honeycombs on into a honey extractor. You'll see Uncle Michiel putting them straight up in the honey extractor, and then you turn the honey extractor fast, and the honey shoots out of the little cells. Just look how the honey is shooting out here and how it is running down on the side of the extractor. Now when you've cleaned all your honeycombs and you've extracted them all, then you can open the little tap at the bottom of the extractor, and the honey can go into the bottles or into little buckets, whatever you want to use. Sometimes there's a bit of wax in the honey, and then you use a sieve. You will hook the sieve onto the little tap, and the honey will run through the sieve and the wax will stay behind, and then you will have nice clean honey in your bottles. Honey can also be used as a medicine for when your throat is sore, or if you have a sore place that doesn't want to get well, you can also use honey. In the Bible, we also read about bees and how hard they work, and we also read about milk and honey. And when the Bible talks about a place where there's milk and honey, it means it's a good place to stay and a place where you will be happy. Honey was also a great gift in the Bible times, and it still is a great gift. If somebody gives you honey, it's always something special. So, Herbie, I want to give you a bottle of honey, which you can go home and enjoy on your toast.
Nanna, thank you very much for a very, very interesting story. Bees is certainly a fascinating insect and certainly made by God. And thank you for the bottle of honey. That is really a wonderful present. I'm going to enjoy it very much.
You're welcome, Herbie. I'm so glad that you enjoyed it, and I hope our friends enjoyed our honey story as well. Well, everybody, this is the end of today. We'll see you next time.
Bye, children. Bye, Nanna. I'm now going to have a sandwich with honey.
Bye-bye, Herbie. Enjoy your sandwich.
All things bright and beautiful, all creatures great and small. The flowers red, pink and yellow, the Lord God made them all. Each little flower that opens, each little bird that sings, He made their glowing colors, He made their tiny wings. The lion that roars and the mouse that squeaks, the cow that moves in the field, the bunny hops and the dog says quack, the Lord God made them all. Each little calf that is born, each little dog that barks, He made the horse so big and strong, He made the little lamb.